What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Now in today's video, we're hopping into Rogue Storm, issue number 2. This is part 24 of the Age of Revelation story coming from the X-Men titles. And when it comes to the Age of Revelation, there is a lot going on. Because in this story, 10 years in the future, we have Rogue Red. She's been leading her team of Iceman, Warpath, Gateway, who is taken out, Phantom X, and then Akujin. They've all come to kill a god. They've all come to the Sahara Desert to try and take down Storm. But when we pick up with Storm, we see the brass knuckles of Rogue Red, and we see Storm swallow them. Not really understanding the full significance of what this is, we can assume that she took down Rogue Red. While she sits here around a campfire, this is where she has a demon come to her, the demon Egon. Storm has been scouring the earth for 5 years. She has been searching for him, but now he chooses to come before her and she has to wonder why. Why now? Now this demon, it plays with her, it messes with her. This is the same one that possessed her for years. Storm had succumbed to some kind of madness and nobody really understood why or how this was happening. But when Storm slashes at the demon, cuts it in half. But this is when Daniel Drum wakes up Storm. Now Daniel wakes her up and almost immediately he's like, I should have worked with somebody else. I should have asked somebody else to help me. You don't even know what crimson bands are. In his opinion, she's gonna die here and he's gonna be sold off to some wizard. But this somebody that's coming up on him, this is an old friend. As Storm shoots her arrows, they are quickly knocked out of the sky by Gambit. Now this is our old man Gambit. He's come looking for Rogue, and that's when we see Storm, she powers up. She gets ready to take him on, but Gambit really just tries talking to her. The Storm that he knew, she wouldn't be so quick to shoot first and ask questions later. She also wouldn't be so quick to power up against somebody that you would call an old friend. Now, Storm does apologize and says that she's dealt with so many betrayals these days, she's not really sure who she can trust. Gambit not really seeing much of anything these days because he's blind, but he's heard a whole lot of things. And there's one thing that has been ringing in his ear. And so he's gotta ask the question, what did you do to Rogue Red? This is what takes us back to the Sahara Desert. It takes us back to Egypt, back to Storm's fortress of solitude that she's turned this desert, this once hellish landscape, into an icy tundra. And Rogue Red and her team, they're here to fight. As they fire their cannon, we see a giant explosion. And as the entire fortress crumbles, a crater left in the wake, the smoke clears, and what we see is Storm. She's in her bubble, chained. They knew that it wouldn't be that easy to kill a god. So when they get down here and they see this protective bubble the Storm's in, they try a little bit of everything to break into it. Even Bobby can't break into this thing. This dome is made of solid ice. The air pressure within the dome, it is channeled in a way that enhances the durability of the ice dome. More durable than vibranium. Bobby could try to melt the ice, but while Storm's powers are trying to keep it frozen, it would be like playing tug-of-war. It would take weeks for them to actually do something. And so Rogue puts on her brass knuckles, and she starts to punch the ice. As she punches and punches, Storm breaks out. The chains break free. Storm reaches up, grabs her by the throat, and says, "Leave or die." But this is when Akujin, she pulls out her swords, and she starts slicing off the heads of everybody, cutting Warpath across the chest, cutting up Bobby into little pieces. And while Rogue's team is being slaughtered, she can hear this. The uncanny X-Force is being taken out. Hate sees from the trenches of her being. And Rogue Red, she summons her powers that she hasn't used in years. Powers she thought gone. She uses those powers and she grabs hold of Storm, stripping away Storm's powers and making them her own. But that is exactly what her betrayer wanted her to do. Rogue taking in this power, she then gets a sword in the back. And now with Storm's mutant powers stripped away from her, the ancient demon imprisoned in her body put in her body to protect humanity, it now claws its way out, eager to wreak havoc on the world. All of our heroes fallen, Bobby in pieces and some kind of demonic symbols on the ground, keeping him in pieces. None of them understood, not until it was too late. Akujin, a good disciple of the demon, working behind the uncanny X-Force, behind their backs trying to free him, knowing that stripping away Storm's mutant power would release him into the world. That her mutant power mixed with her sorcery was the only thing that was strong enough to keep him at bay. But now that evil is set foot in the world, it is let loose. And that is what picks us back up in present day. It picks us up with Storm and Remy. As the two of them, they have some discussion, they have some banter about love of Rogue Green versus Rogue Red. This conversation is meaningless because the worst is yet to come. That monster has returned. And it tells Storm that I heard you were looking for me, that I'm sorry I kept you waiting, but you see I've been busy around the world. He took down Voodoo, he took down Dr. Doom, he took down the Scarlet Witch, he took down Steven and Clea Strange, Agatha, Hellstorm, any and every sorcerer that this world may have offered. This is what happened to them. This monster was freed from its prison, stuck inside of Storm, and being freed from that prison, it was like releasing Satan himself upon everybody. Believing that Storm is the last thing that stands in his way from destroying this planet, doing whatever he so chooses. This is the final confrontation. This is the final battle. The goddess Storm ascends. The sorceress, she's about to show her true power. And that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Absolutely brilliant. This Rogue Storm comic has been absolutely phenomenal. We're also finally getting an answer to what happened to all of our magic wielders. This demon-like deity stuck inside of Storm for all of this time. What appears to have happened is Storm isolated herself, put herself into her own prison. She did so that this thing couldn't be released into the world. But with her powers expanding, possibly on the verge of taking over the world if they continue to expand, they came to stop her, not knowing what that would cost. And so this evil was released into the world, and it went hunting. It started hunting down the best sorcerers out there, from the Scarlet Witch to Dr. Doom. There was nobody and nothing that could stand in its way. Once defeating all of them and devouring them, that's when it came back for Storm, taking away any powerful allies that Storm might use at her disposal, getting rid of all the magic wielders. This puts Storm at a disadvantage. No friends powerful enough to come in and help in any capacity. It is Storm versus Egon. Also, I dig what they did with Bobby. At first I was like, you diced Bobby up, okay, but you can't keep Bobby diced up. And they did a quick explanation, like a quick little sigil on the ground, Bobby can't reform. Bet. Fill in that little hole right there and I'm good to go. This story has definitely been much more consistent than what we have had in some of the other stories, such as our binary. There's definitely been a few that have stood out, and Rogue Storm definitely one that stands out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. I got a playlist set up that is going to get you caught up on every single issue in the entirety of the X-Men Age of Revelation. Now, if you want to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. This is a lot like Patreon, just having a bunch of different tiers that give you a bunch of different options. It really does help out the channel in a lot of ways. But if you're not able to do that, the easiest way you can help us out, simply subscribing to the channel, liking this video, hitting the notification bell, and they did introduce the new hype button. If you want to click that, hype up the channel, push us in the algorithm, that will help us out tremendously. And with that being said, until the next breakdown.